Hi, today I'm here to talk about cultivating relationships between the school board and superintendent. My name is Kaylee Schnack, and I'm going to discuss how I, as a superintendent, would build a relationship between the school board. A quote that I thought was very important is just basically focusing on communication. Implementing strong systems of communication allows one to focus on fostering and important relationships. And that came from the Basics of Leadership article that I had read. I feel that if you're ever going to be on a team or with a group of people that are different, that have different experiences, outlooks, goals, all of that, you need to be able to communicate what you expect and what you want out of a relationship or a team. The first thing that I would do if I was going to be working with the school board, which would be you guys, would be to invest in personal and professional relationships. I think I need to have a relationship with each board member. You need to know what I do, and I need to know why you do what you do. What is your end goal? Why are you wanting to serve the community? I think once we figure out our whys, then we can have a better grasp on working as a team. There has to be a high level of trust between the both of us, and I need to connect with you. I would like to schedule meetings, starting out, every 2 weeks, and then maybe we go to every 3 or 4 weeks, just individually, because I really want to get to know you as a person. Clearly, the community selected you for a reason, and you have great ownership of that. And I just want us to be team players. It's also important that I'm transparent with you, as well as you being transparent with me. I don't want anything to come as a surprise. I want us to tackle things head on, and that is one of the goals that I have set for myself. Another thing is just sending weekly updates. I think it's important that you guide our vision as far as a district, but you also know what the day-to-day operations are happening, and that would be a weekly email. And then, of course, following the code of ethics for school board members and superintendents as we go further in. If this is the route we take, that will be a prime focus to make sure that we identify our roles and responsibilities. Number 2 would then be to communicate with consistency and respect. If we're going to have mutual respect and understanding, it'll allow for us to have an authentic and fruitful conversation. We'll be able to solve relevant issues consistently, and just communicating about everything. And it always doesn't have to be in our meetings focusing specifically on like the school district. I want to know more about your family. I want to know more about your hobbies, those types of things, because those conversations can inspire and lead to further conversations that eventually sometimes guide us back to things that we're working on the school board spectrum. And then just demonstrating that mutual respect and accepting whether the outcome is negative or positive. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows in life, and that is also in the world of work. And just being able to know how to maneuver through those are very important. And then, of course, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt when we're in conversation and they're difficult conversations. I just want to make sure that we're respectful consistently with everything that we're saying. The next thing that I would do would be to build a positive relationship with my stakeholders. So that's everyone from superintendent to the teachers, to the students, to the community. And I'll get more in depth in that in just a little bit. But we need to be just continuing to work openly and honestly. And a big thing that I think will help us with our stakeholders is having positive PR, so public relations. Just making sure that we're gathering awareness about our district and celebrating the milestones, highlighting our awesome teachers, even awesome community members, and also telling success stories about our students. That's the reason we're here, is for the students. And then the next part is just setting up messaging grid just to shine the positivity. I know in social media, there's lots of things that can detour public education. And so it's important that people know why we are the way we are, like in our district, and why we matter, and why we're doing these things to benefit the success of our student achievement. The next thing would be step 4, and that would be to connect the community. So I just want to make sure that we're engaging the community. You guys are the ambassadors of the school. You know what the community wants, you know what the community needs. And so we need to make sure that we're formulating goals, defining our outcomes, um, and setting growth and for improvement of student achievement. I want you to make sure that we are working together and involving the community. I want them to feel, the community members to feel at peace. I don't want them to ever feel surprised or unedged or distracted that we're not focusing on the prime things. I know there's lots of things that can get into the view of what we're doing and why we do what we do. And so we just really need to focus on the students. That's why we're here. And then the other thing is I want to make sure that I am involved in the community, just like the school board. I want to be there and make sure that I'm attending community events, district events, athletics, plays, musicals, family nights, those types of things. I just want to be transparent with the school board activities because you guys are community members as well, and you attend those things, and I think it's vital for me to attend them as well. And then I also think it's important that as a school board, we are able to talk about our initiatives when we're out in public. I think it's important that if somebody asks us why we're doing the things we're doing, we're able to express what we know, what we know about all the things. Community relations is essential, and that's one of the pillars of holding our foundation together. Number 5 would then be to establish a shared vision. So making sure that we have common ground. We need to know where we're going. That will allow us to cut out the tension, refocus our conversation, and keep forward with the end goal in mind. With the clear vision, we're able to set up that pathway, see the successes, but also see the challenges on how we can get better. And then engaging with the community to formulate goals, define the outcomes, and set growth. I know I had mentioned that previously, but I think that's super important on being a school board, being with the school board, is we have to know where we're going. And then again, I just want to make sure that we set our roles. So you know that you are part of the district's vision. You are telling me what the community wants, what you hear, what would better our school based on the data and things that we have shared. And then it's my job to carry out that vision, those missions, and those goals. Number 6, which would be a part of my plan, would be to summarize, analyze, and plan. So district operations, it's very important that we examine our practices with district and building leaders. Our leaders need to know what our plans are and how we can sprinkle that down into our classrooms. We need to review strategic plans yearly or whenever they need to be reviewed. Like the handbook, I know we need to review that every 5 to 7 years, things like that. And we also need to analyze our data to better understand what's happening in our district. We need to interpret our data collection from meetings, observation, and surveys. And like I said, I want to dig with my district leaders and my building leaders on the data, so that way we can present it to you and see what kind of findings we know. We need to set strategic meetings on how to plan to move forward, and that starts with you, because you have that portion of the community behind you, and you know what the community wants and needs to be successful. And then I want to value the constant dialogue between board members around a common goal and plan. Number 7 would be to monitor and progress check-in. So this basically is making sure that we're not getting stuck in the mud, that we're continuing to monitor student improvement or achievement, making corrections to our program, keeping the public informed of what we're doing, why we're doing it, the functions of the schoolwork, because we want kids to have a great education. We want them to be civil. I'm trying to think of the word. We want them to be civil, but we also want them to be able to work in the community and join the workforce. It's important for the board to monitor the relationships of the goals in their district. So like I said, if we set our roles and responsibilities, I won't micromanage you. You don't micromanage me. We are separate entities, but we do work together. We need to have strategic goals, mostly important to measure our progress. We need to be able to interpret our data and take those next steps. And I just need to check in and answer any questions that new school board members might have, especially when we have new members on our team. It can be overwhelming if you don't know exactly what we're into and what we're doing. And so I think that's important that we have as well. Number 8 would be then to lean into the team. I think this is super huge. When you have tension or crisis, we need to get comfortable with it. We need to make sure that we're prioritizing our culture of respect and trust. We need to make sure that we have common ground, that we can refocus our conversations and get to that end goal. We need to just lean into it. I know it's uncomfortable, but once we get into it and not walk around it, then we're more likely to go straight to our end goal and not have to beat around the bush. And then just make changes. It has to be a team effort because we are a team. Number 9 is strategically use resources. So I need to access my knowledge, and my connections of networks and what I know in the educational background. But you guys also have resources community-wide that I don't know that I can utilize or that we can utilize together on our team. And then strategically just using existing resources, develop and follow a smart budget, share district information with local legislators, that will build on student success and ensuring that we're using the efficiency of those resources. And then the last part will be to celebrate student success to celebrate success and achievement. We need to celebrate the highs and the lows. But I think when we celebrate the highs, we don't need to celebrate the lows, but I think we need to celebrate the highs, because we need to know that we're meeting our goals. It gives our community something to celebrate. It gives our community something to be proud of. It gives even our stakeholders in education something to be proud of at the school level. I think student achievement is a top priority, and we need to make sure that we're meeting those goals and then continue to make new goals and shift to where we want to be. So based on this, my relevancy within this module 3 is I feel like I have a better improved understanding of how the communication between school board and superintendents work. There is that cultivating relationship between school boards that drive the district, and they are successful in meeting the district's vision. It was interesting for me to think about the big picture view when you're busy with the day-to-day operations. I didn't really think of that. Because when you're doing it, you don't see the outside line, and that's what your board's there to do. I love that in one of our articles, it talked about the board being the school ambassadors, and that's really what they are. I mean, they are those community members that just want to make the school a better place. Relationship between my current board and superintendent has been well developed, and it's matured for years. Like I said, we do have a new superintendent, but he was principal 3 years prior, so he's already been working with the board. The one improvement that I would say would be just be like public relations spokesman. I know that we hear a lot from our superintendent, but I don't know about the communication via community side. I know our superintendent does talk to community members, but I would like to see looking at a public relations spokesperson. And then I actually have limited relationships with our school board, and I need to work on this. I am a teacher. I do share successes in my classroom at board meetings or our after school program, but I would like to be more involved. My reflection, did this influence my decision as a future leader? It did very well. I learned that I need to be setting boundaries and expectations of roles and responsibilities between myself and the board. I need to be meeting with the school board members within the community setting and outside of board meetings, so it's not all behind closed doors. We need to be able to be civil and discuss things, at athletic games or just saying hi in passing at the grocery store, those types of things. Things that I need to work on before moving to that superintendent role is I need to look to see what drives our school's vision and assess the progress of how that vision is being met. I also want to focus on community involvement.